Rise, my apprentice.
The clone army, created from Jango Fett's genetic template, was engineered for rapid growth and combat readiness to serve the Galactic Republic. These clones, led by Jedi generals, fought valiantly in the Clone Wars, becoming the backbone of the Republic's military might. Despite their identical origins, they developed unique identities and strong bonds, symbolizing hope for the Republic. Now, imagine if these clones, designed to age quickly for immediate deployment, began aging even faster than expected. How would this unforeseen flaw impact the Republic's greatest asset and the galaxy's future? Palpatine, operating as the Sith Lord Darth Sidious, orchestrated the creation of the clone army through intricate manipulation and deception. He enlisted his apprentice, Count Dooku, to recruit Jedi Master Sifo Dyas, who foresaw a great conflict and believed the Republic needed a strong military force. Under Dooku's influence, Sifo Dyas secretly commissioned the Kaminoans to create the clone army. After Sifo Dyas's death, Dooku erased Kamino from the Jedi archives to keep the project hidden. Dooku, now Darth Tyrannus, further ensured the clones' loyalty by providing the Kaminoans with Jango Fett as the genetic template and implanting inhibitor chips in the clones to execute Order 66 when the time came. Palpatine's master plan involved starting the Clone Wars by manipulating both sides, using the clone army to eventually destroy the Jedi and transform the Republic into the Galactic Empire. His intricate plot set the stage for his ultimate rise to power, controlling the galaxy with an iron fist. The clone army saw its first significant action on the battlefields of Geonosis, marking the beginning of the Clone Wars. Dispatched under the command of Jedi generals, these highly trained soldiers showcased their prowess against the separatist droid army. Their efficiency, discipline, and combat effectiveness were unparalleled, turning the tide of battle in favor of the Republic. The Republic Senate, initially unaware of the existence of the clone army, was astounded by their performance. The swift and decisive victory at Geonosis not only saved countless Jedi, but also provided a much-needed boost to the Republic's morale. Senators, impressed by the clones' capabilities, began to place greater trust in Chancellor Palpatine, who had authorized their deployment. Palpatine used this newfound confidence to solidify his position, gaining emergency powers to lead the Republic through the growing conflict. The clone army's success on Geonosis was a key factor in rallying the Senate and the galaxy behind Palpatine's leadership, setting the stage for his continued rise to power. In the early stages of the Clone Wars, the clone army continued to prove its worth across numerous battlefronts. From the dense jungles of Felucia to the icy plains of Megiddo, the clones demonstrated exceptional bravery, skill, and unwavering loyalty under the leadership of Jedi generals. Their ability to adapt to diverse combat situations and execute complex strategies impressed military leaders and politicians alike. As victories accumulated and the separatist forces were repeatedly pushed back, the Republic's confidence in the clone army grew stronger. The Senate's trust in Chancellor Palpatine, who had orchestrated the army's deployment, reached new heights. Palpatine's careful manipulation of events ensured that he was seen as the steadfast leader the Republic needed in its time of crisis. Feeling increasingly secure, Palpatine believed his plan was foolproof. The clone army was performing beyond expectations. Everything seemed to be falling into place for his ultimate goal of transforming the Republic into the Galactic Empire. As the Clone Wars raged on, a troubling issue began to surface. The first batch of clones, who had once been the epitome of efficiency and combat prowess, started to show signs of decline. Their reactions slowed, their stamina waned, and their overall effectiveness in battle diminished noticeably. Initially, the Republic's military leaders were perplexed, attributing these changes to the inevitable toll of prolonged warfare. However, further investigation revealed a more alarming cause. The clones were aging more rapidly than anticipated. The accelerated aging process, designed to quickly produce battle-ready soldiers, was progressing at an even faster rate than predicted. This revelation sent shockwaves through the Republic's leadership, who had come to rely heavily on the clone army's capabilities. In response, the Republic put immense pressure on the Kaminoans to identify and resolve the issue. The Kaminoans, renowned for their cloning expertise, were were equally baffled by the unexpected acceleration. Despite extensive research and analysis, they could not pinpoint the cause of the rapid aging. This unforeseen complication threatened the stability and effectiveness of the Republic's primary fighting force. With the Republic's confidence shaken and no immediate solution in sight, Chancellor Palpatine faced a significant challenge. How would he maintain control and continue his grand scheme with an army that was deteriorating faster than expected? At first, Chancellor Palpatine responded to the crisis by ordering the production of more clones to replace the rapidly aging soldiers. However, this solution proved to be extremely expensive, straining the Republic's war budget. Additionally, with each new generation of clones, the genetic material from Jango Fett began to degrade. The Kaminoans struggled to maintain the original quality, resulting in newer clones that were not only less effective, but also more susceptible to the same accelerated aging issue. As the war progressed, these newer generations of clones began to show significant deficiencies. Their combat effectiveness was compromised, leading to more frequent losses in battles against the separatist forces. The once reliable clone army was now a growing liability on the battlefield. The Republic's struggles did not go unnoticed. Some senators, already uneasy about the ethics of cloning, began to voice their concerns more loudly. They questioned the morality of creating individuals solely for the purpose of war, especially when these clones were genetically flawed and aging prematurely. The ethical debate gained traction, adding political pressure to the already dire military situation. With the Republic's military capabilities weakening and the ethical controversy growing, Palpatine faced a multifaceted crisis. The once bulletproof plan to control the galaxy through the clone army was unraveling. While Palpatine orchestrated both sides of the war, some might argue that it didn't matter to him who won, as he would benefit regardless. However, this wasn't the case. Palpatine's ultimate goal was to consolidate power and transform the Republic into the Galactic Empire, with himself as its unchallenged ruler. For this plan to succeed, he needed the vast majority of the galaxy's senators and citizens to view him favorably, which was only possible through the Republic. The Republic had more resources, more power, and greater influence than the Confederacy of Independent Systems, CIS. Palpatine needed the Republic to appear strong and victorious to ensure the people's support and trust. If it were discovered that he was the mastermind behind the CIS, he would lose the trust and confidence of the galaxy, making it nearly impossible to form and rule an empire. As the clone army's accelerated aging crisis deepened, Palpatine realized the urgent need to find a solution to restore the Republic's military strength and public confidence. The deteriorating effectiveness of the clones, combined with the ethical concerns raised by senators, threatened to derail his plans. Palpatine, recognizing the severity of the situation and the need to maintain his grip on power, called for a crucial Senate meeting. This meeting could very well be the most important of his career. As the senators gathered, the atmosphere was tense, with whispers of the clone army's accelerated aging and ethical concerns filling the grand chamber. Palpatine began his address with a grave tone, acknowledging the ethical dilemmas that had surfaced regarding the use of clones in warfare. He expressed his deep concern for the welfare of the clones, emphasizing their invaluable service and sacrifice for the Republic. Using his political acumen, he deftly shifted the blame to the Kaminoans, suggesting that the rapid aging issue was a result of their flawed genetic engineering. He framed the Kaminoans as the scapegoats, redirecting the ethical debate away from the Republic's leadership and military strategies.
While the Kaminoans assured us of the clones' longevity and effectiveness, it has become apparent that their assurances were misguided. We must hold them accountable for this grievous oversight.
Transitioning seamlessly, Palpatine introduced a comprehensive retirement plan for the aging clones, aimed at demonstrating his compassion and responsibility as a leader. The plan promised to provide medical care, housing, and pensions for the clones, ensuring they would be honored and cared for as they aged out of service.
We owe these brave soldiers our gratitude and respect. They will not be cast aside. Instead, they will be given the support and dignity they deserve in their retirement.
Next, Palpatine outlined a strategy to maximize the effectiveness of the remaining clones. This included reassignment to less physically demanding roles and the implementation of new training programs to maintain their combat readiness for as long as possible. He did not sugarcoat the situation, acknowledging the dire state of the Republic's military.
The Republic is facing great trouble. Our enemies grow bolder and our forces are strained. We cannot ignore the reality before us.
Using the gravity of the situation to his advantage, Palpatine made his most bold move yet. He proposed granting himself additional emergency powers to enact a draft and bring in conscripted soldiers to bolster the Republic's ranks. He argued that extraordinary measures were necessary to ensure the Republic's survival and victory.
To protect our galaxy and secure our future, we must take decisive action. I ask for your trust and support in granting me the emergency powers needed to enforce a draft. Together, we can overcome this crisis and emerge stronger than ever.
The Senate, already swayed by Palpatine's eloquence and the urgency of the situation, began to murmur in agreement. Senators who had previously questioned his decisions found themselves compelled by his argument, seeing no other viable option in the face of the Republic's growing peril. Palpatine's masterful manipulation and persuasive oration secured the Senate's approval. With his newly acquired emergency powers, he set the stage for the next phase of his grand plan, continuing his path toward absolute control. With his emergency powers secured, Palpatine launched an intense propaganda campaign to rally the citizens of the Republic. Utilizing every available medium, from HoloNet broadcasts to public speeches, he painted a vivid picture of a galaxy under threat. The message was clear: to protect their homes, their families, and their way of life, every able-bodied citizen must stand up and fight for the Republic. The propaganda was highly effective, igniting a surge of patriotism across the galaxy. Recruitment centers saw unprecedented numbers of volunteers eager to join the fight. Palpatine's rhetoric stirred a sense of duty and pride among the populace, and many were willing to sacrifice for the greater good. Meanwhile, on the front lines, the clones continued to perform their duties with unwavering dedication despite their accelerating aging. They held the lines of war, buying crucial time for the new conscripts to undergo rigorous training. The clone troopers, even in their deteriorating state, proved to be indispensable in maintaining the Republic's defenses and conducting strategic operations. As the new soldiers completed their training, they were deployed to the battlefronts. While well trained, these conscripted soldiers could not match the combat effectiveness, discipline, and experience of the clone army. Nevertheless, their sheer numbers and determination provided a much-needed boost to the Republic's military strength. Palpatine's influence behind the scenes further bolstered the Republic's efforts. Using his position as the covert leader of the CIS, he subtly weakened the Separatists through misinformation, sabotage, and tactical blunders orchestrated by his puppet, Count Dooku. These covert actions ensured that the Republic could gain the upper hand in key battles. Despite the less effective nature of their new troops, the combination of the clones' valiant defense, the influx of motivated new soldiers, and Palpatine's strategic manipulations began to shift the tide of the war. The Republic started to reclaim lost territories and push back against the Separatist forces. The Senate and citizens, seeing the Republic's renewed vigor and success, praised Palpatine's leadership. The crisis that had threatened to undermine his grand plan was turning into a testament to his ability to guide the Republic through its darkest hours. With each victory, Palpatine edged closer to his ultimate goal of transforming the Republic into the Galactic Empire, secure in the loyalty and trust of its people. As the war dragged on, it became evident that the conflict was lasting longer than it would have if the clone army had been at full strength. The new conscripted soldiers, despite their training and numbers, could not match the combat efficiency and strategic prowess of the clones. This prolonged the conflict, stretching the resources and resolve of the Republic. The Jedi Order, already thinned by years of continuous battle, found themselves spread even thinner across countless fronts. Their numbers dwindled, but their determination and spirit remained unbroken. Together with the conscripted soldiers, they fought valiantly, securing victories through sheer willpower, tactical ingenuity, and unwavering commitment to the cause of the Republic. Despite the extended duration of the war, Palpatine's influence only grew stronger. He continued to manipulate events from behind the scenes, ensuring that the Republic maintained just enough of an edge to sustain the fight. He used this prolonged conflict to his advantage, further consolidating his power and subtly steering public opinion in his favor. During this time, Palpatine also focused on manipulating Anakin Skywalker. Recognizing Anakin's growing frustration with the Jedi Council and his deep-seated fear of losing Padme, Palpatine positioned himself as a trusted mentor and confidant. He planted seeds of doubt in Anakin's mind about the Jedi's intentions and their ability to protect protect those he loved. As the war took its toll, Anakin's anxiety and anger grew. He became increasingly disillusioned with the Jedi, feeling that they did not trust him and were withholding crucial knowledge. Palpatine, ever the opportunist, exploited these feelings, hinting at forbidden knowledge and powers that could save Padme from the fate Anakin feared. Eventually, Anakin's desperation led him to seek out Palpatine's guidance. Palpatine promised him the power to save Padme, playing on his deepest fears and desires. In the final stages of the Clone Wars, the tension between Chancellor Palpatine and the Jedi reached a critical point. Sensing that Palpatine was the Sith Lord they had been seeking, Mace Windu, accompanied by 3 other Jedi Masters, went to confront him. As depicted in the events of Revenge of the Sith, Palpatine revealed his true nature, and a fierce battle ensued in his office. Anakin Skywalker, tormented by his fear of losing Padme and manipulated by Palpatine's promises, arrived at the scene. Torn between his loyalty to the Jedi and his desperation to save Padme, Anakin intervened at a crucial moment. He betrayed Mace Windu, severing his hand and allowing Palpatine to deliver a fatal attack. The other Jedi Masters who accompanied Windu were also struck down by Palpatine's power. Using this confrontation as a pretext, Palpatine framed the Jedi as traitors attempting a coup to take over the Republic. He addressed the Senate, presenting himself as the victim of their treachery and declaring that the Jedi had betrayed the Republic. This narrative provided the justification he needed to enact Order 66, commanding conscripted soldiers to execute their Jedi leaders. While the clone troopers, programmed with inhibitor chips, followed the order without hesitation, the conscripted soldiers faced a profound moral dilemma. Throughout the war, many of them had fought side by side with the Jedi, forming close bonds and witnessing their bravery and selflessness firsthand. To now see these same Jedi branded as enemies and ordered to be killed was a bitter and confusing directive. Among the conscripted soldiers, reactions were mixed. Some, feeling bound by their duty to follow orders, reluctantly turned their weapons on their Jedi comrades. Others, however, could not bring themselves to betray those who had led them through countless battles and, in many cases, saved their lives. These soldiers refused to carry out the executions, seeing the Jedi not as traitors, but as loyal allies who had stood in the trenches with them. This division among the conscripted soldiers caused significant turmoil. When the time came for the raid on the Jedi Temple, Palpatine's plan faced unforeseen complications. Anakin Skywalker, now Darth Vader, led the assault with a contingent of conscripted soldiers. Many of the conscripted soldiers believed their mission was to peacefully arrest and disband the Jedi Order, not to massacre them. When the raid began and violence erupted, a significant number of these soldiers were horrified by the reality of their orders. The sight of attacking Jedi, especially the younglings, was more than they could bear. They hesitated, conflicted between their duty and their conscience. The conscripted soldiers who were willing to follow through with the brutal orders found themselves outmatched. Unlike the clones, they lacked the same level of training and coordination, which made them less effective in combat against the highly skilled Jedi. The chaos and confusion among their ranks further hindered their ability to carry out the assault. Inside the temple, the Jedi, including the younglings, defended themselves fiercely. Masters and knights fought valiantly to protect their home and the lives within it. The resistance they mounted against the attackers was formidable. The conscripted soldiers struggled to make significant headway against the determined Jedi defenders. Anakin, driven by his new allegiance to the dark side and his desperation to save Padme, fought with brutal efficiency. However, even his formidable skills could not turn the tide alone. As the battle raged on, the Jedi managed to subdue him, recognizing the once promising Jedi Knight now turned against them. Ultimately, the Jedi succeeded in defending the temple from the assault. The conscripted soldiers, disorganized and demoralized, were unable to overcome the well-coordinated defense. Anakin Skywalker was captured and arrested, a turn of events that complicated Palpatine's grand plan. With the raid on the Jedi Temple a failure and Anakin Skywalker subdued, Padme Amidala, driven by her love and belief in Anakin's inherent goodness, managed to reach him. Through her support and compassion, Anakin began to see the depth of his mistakes and the manipulation he had fallen victim to. Determined to make amends, he decided to testify against Chancellor Palpatine. Anakin's testimony alone, however, was not enough to sway public opinion or the Senate. Palpatine had preemptively released manipulated footage showing the Jedi attacking him, portraying himself as a victim, and further solidifying his narrative of a Jedi coup. Palpatine dismissed Anakin's testimony as the desperate attempt of a fallen Jedi to salvage his tarnished reputation and facilitate the Jedi's supposed takeover. Despite this, the morale among the conscripted soldiers reached a breaking point. Many of them had already been conflicted about the orders to kill Jedi, whom they had come to respect and trust during the war. Publicly, the military began to voice their refusal to continue fighting under these conditions. The soldiers' widespread dissent placed immense pressure on the Senate and the general populace, who started questioning the Chancellor's directives and the ethics of the ongoing conflict. As the Jedi regrouped, they worked tirelessly to gather irrefutable evidence of Palpatine's true identity and his orchestration of the war. Through careful investigation and the cooperation of key figures who had grown disillusioned with Palpatine's rule, the Jedi uncovered and presented undeniable proof that Palpatine was, in fact, Darth Sidious, the Sith Lord behind the Separatist movement. The revelation sent shockwaves through the galaxy. The undeniable proof, combined with the military's refusal to continue fighting and Anakin's testimony, turned the tide against Palpatine. The Senate and the public, feeling betrayed and horrified by the truth, rallied to put an end to his reign. The war was swiftly concluded, and efforts began to dismantle the remnants of Palpatine's influence. With Palpatine's downfall, the Republic and the Jedi Order embarked on a path of healing and reconstruction. Anakin, despite his crucial role in exposing Palpatine, was held accountable for his actions during his time as Darth Vader. He was sentenced to prison, where he would reflect on his choices and the consequences of his actions. Padme, though heartbroken by Anakin's imprisonment, remained a steadfast advocate for peace and justice, helping to rebuild the Republic and restore faith in its institutions. Their children, Luke and Leia, grew up under the care of the new Jedi Order, embodying the hope and resilience of a new generation. They trained as Jedi, determined to honor their father's legacy by upholding the values of the light side of the Force and ensuring that the mistakes of the past would not be repeated. The galaxy, scarred by years of war and deception, slowly began to heal. The Republic, with the Jedi by its side, worked towards a future of unity and peace, ever vigilant against the darkness that once threatened to consume it.